All right, everybody, here we go. Another Friday night, another Hot 10, and a weird predicament. The new computer is up and running, but I don't know how to do anything yet. So I'm learning how to use everything, and I had to totally kill my setup. As you guys can see, the room's a little different, so I just killed the room and started fresh. So we're going to get a whole new setup in here going over the next week or two, so things might be a little different, but we'll see how it works out. How you guys doing? What's going on, Ben?
Not much. Just hanging out in the Bayou country, and but I got to work Memorial Day weekend, so that kind of sucks. So
yeah, it does suck. Richie, what up, brother?
What's up, brothers? Glad to see you guys. I missed you guys this week. Another installment of the Ben Stein list brought to you by CBSI. Was so excited that I couldn't wait. So thank you guys for having me on once again.
He's good at not being able to wait because he opened up all his Bowman without me.
Give me a link. Give me a link. I'll open this Bowman.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us. Remember, hit that subscribe button, getting close to 1,000 subs. And you guys help us out. So appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up if you like what we're seeing. You guys know how this works. Ben chooses a bunch of books to put on the list, but then we also go through the almost 10, which are some cool books that, maybe you saw a weird sale from that you haven't thought of in a while, or the stuff that just barely makes it. So we're going to try this a little different tonight. Let's see how it works out. Let's get into the almost 10. All right. So Ben was really good this week about letting out one of the most amazing pieces of cornbread that I've been holding very, very close to my heart since I started podcasting. It's the one book one of the books that I have never talked about because I never wanted it to be known, and I still made the slide for it. So you guys are going to be very happy for this one later on. And Ben doesn't. I don't even know if Ben knows it's.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, all right.
You would have been like, "Hey, man, I got one more. Where'd that go?"
So there's some fun stuff on here. You guys, I want to shout out the Modern Comic Mayhem co-host Kyle, because Kyle's going to enjoy this list tonight. And I'll talk about that later when we get there. But the first book on the almost 10, Iron Patriot #1, the Scotty Young variant. Yeah, that's a cool cover. I mean, it's Scotty Young at this point.
Yeah, honestly, I would almost. I mean, I've been picking up like anything that I see almost at this point, especially if it's cover price. I think they're easy sells. I mean, I'm not really selling anything, but I think if I wanted to sell them, they're all pretty liquid. So, especially this one was from like 2016 or 2019 or something.
2014, I think.
I think
2014.
I think that's what's happening is most people are like, maybe at the time weren't too into them. And then over time, certain ones have caught them, and then they kind of start falling in love with them. And then they're like, these are all, because that's what happened to me. And I know that's what happened to a lot of other people too. But so, he was doing so many covers. I would love to get him on a show one of these days to talk about his early podcasting days, because he used to do a comic book podcast back in the day when podcasts first started, like, when Comic Book Geek Speak first started, when there's another comic book show that I can't think of that first started. Scotty Young was doing podcasting. So one of these days we'll have to talk to him about that.
This book is cool too. I'm not sure, retailers, you can help me out. I'm pretty sure it was a percentile qualifier, but if it was open order, feel free to hammer me in the comments. But in this book, you have the first appearance of Lila Rhodes, which is Rhodey's niece. So, cool little character.
Cool.
I couldn't think of Jim Rhodes' name the other day going through a box of keys, and I was on video, and I felt like I'm such a moron. Just cannabis out of nowhere. But that being said, let's move on to the next. Almost actually, what is this selling for?
70.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
70. Wow.
All right, on to the next one. We've talked about this book a couple of times here. Very beautiful cover, that's for sure. This is Hellcop number 7. This is the Virgin variant, though, if you guys remember. And I can't share my screen with you right now because it's not set up correctly, but it had like a GQ type cover that said DQ. But yeah, man, what a image right there.
Yeah, this just came out this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a few sales at $10 on this. It's not I don't think that it's an incentive or anything like that. I think it's just a C cover or something like that. But yeah, I initially thought it was a photo cover. I wasn't 100% sure.
I was with you, man. 100%. I thought it was a photo cover too. So beautiful. What is it selling for now?
Like there was a few $10 sales. Yeah,
that's not bad. Yeah, Anna Nicole Smith reborn. Yeah, 100%. Looks like Anna Nicole Smith.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those, kind of like that you see and you're like, it's probably one I just throw in my box or something like that and let it sit for several years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one for $10. All right. Next one on the list. Here's to Kyle over there at Monocomic Mayhem. I think you can't even say it's his guilty pleasure because he's an Insane Clown Posse fan over there and always talking about these ICP comics. And this is an interesting one that came with, as far as I know, it came with some discs. But Pendulum number 1, there's 3 covers to this one. There's this one, and this one.
So that's the one that I saw the sales on, was this whatever these flaming clowns coming out of skull candles.
ICP, baby. This is every ICP album. They have one of these Joker things on there, man.
And they are definitely insane.
I can't be on here when you're talking about ICP. I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't be here for this. So yeah, but this is which ones are these? So the first one, or the one we're looking at right now, is a premium cover. They call it the premium cover. This one right here is the Tower Records cover, obviously. And then the regular cover is this one right here. So be on the lookout for all 3 of them. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people will actually admit to being ICP fans in the chat tonight.
Yeah, they've got some weird books out there with some weird variants and stuff like that. There is I think I only own one book of theirs, and it was because it was a photo cover and they're sitting in like a bathroom, a shower or something like that. Almost looks like Saw from like the first movie Saw or something like that. I don't even know what it is, but they're not easy books to find for sure, but I guess nobody really cares.
Yeah. He doesn't have a championship belt, but he has a ICP tramp stamp. No, he doesn't. That's Danzig. Danzig's got a tramp stamp. All right. Next on the list, a really weird one that whenever you're looking through Swamp Thing books, you always, if this is in there, you always stop it and go, huh, and then move on. And now this book's selling. Swamp Thing 153, an absolutely crazy storyline by Mark Millar where the Nazis won World War II, kind of like that. What's that TV show? The Eagle's Nest or something like that.
Yeah, where Japan and they took over the United States.
Yeah. Beautiful Brian Boland cover art, just really, really strikes you. And how much did this sell for?
Well, first of all, can you imagine drawing this and being like, yeah, I want to publish that as my art? Like I would have a really hard time doing that. But no, a CGC 9.8 sold for $250 this week. So, I mean, you think of a lot of like modern first appearances don't sell for $250. and I think Raws are 50 or 60 plus on this. So yeah, don't pass this book by.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'll be honest with you. The few swastika Nazi comics that I unfortunately owned, I want to get them out of my collection. I just don't like looking at it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. There's a lot of people that feel the same way, and it is kind of a weird thing that's collectible in comics, just like racist kind of innuendos, sexual innuendos. Maybe not so much the sexual innuendos, but the racist innuendos is a weird thing that people collect. So
yeah, I think people just buy things for shock value a lot of times. You figure even just, popular radio hosts. They do a lot of stuff just for shock value, and people listen to them just because they're shocking, not for any other reason.
100% the other way. I've got a Uncle Sam flipping you the bird in the background. You know what I mean? So I get it. That's pure shock value. That's all that is. So I understand it. But it is a little weird with the maybe here's something though. Maybe people like collecting some of the maybe the reason that some of the Nazi stuff and the racist overtone stuff from the Golden Age sell isn't necessarily because of that, but because that they're during a certain period of time that people just are like, collect that period of time, whether it's World War II stuff. So there's some of that too. But yeah. Vinny Kumar says never understood the bondage cover thing, man. Hey, that bondage cover thing is half of the sales in comics right now. So you better chill out, brother. Shout out to Vinny Kumar for he came on Wednesday night's show and talked a little bit about the Gary V Con, you guys. It was a lot of fun, and Vinny's a cool dude, and we're gonna have him on as much as possible. So go check it out. You'll get a little inroad on the Gary V craziness and NFTs. We talk a lot about NFTs. So, all right, next on the list of the almost 10, Marvel Knights number 6. This is a Jay Lee variant. Beautiful Sentry negative space type variant. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think people have. This is not one that's really that easy to find. I've never found it. It's definitely one of those, negative. And if you don't realize that it's Jay Lee initially, you might just think it's another JTC cover or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has the kind. This one kind of looks weird to me, only because his fists are like floating out in space, which just looks weird to me. But yeah, this Marvel Knights series, I don't even. But this was like 5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one sold this week for 110, and it's a 1 in. Is this a 1 in 25? Is that what this is?
This is a. Let me see what you wrote it down as.
I don't think I wrote it down.
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's take a look. It is a variant 1 in 25. It is a 1 in 25.
Yeah, so 1 in 25 for 110. That's, for no real particular reason other than it's just got Sentry on the cover, but that I guess some people will collect. But other than that,
yeah, for sure. I like Sentry stuff. I think that it's gonna be hard for them to ever bring Sentry back. He's just too powerful, I guess. Some of those characters that are just that powerful, you have a hard time with, aka Superman, the Superman thing. Where
who was the first artist to do the negative space thing?
Nakayama?
Those JTC Witchblades are probably, but those are what, probably 2000.
Yeah, whatever.
10, something like that.
Let me take a look.
You have Daredevil 111, which is they have the Lady Bullseye incentive. I think that's a 1 in 20.
The AHA.
Yeah, that's
2012 is when that came out. October of 2012.
And that was just kind of like a face negative space. It's a good question.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. If anybody in the chat knows, or if anybody wants to leave a comment below the description.
Well, that's true.
That'll
You
help
get
too.
those John Burns from the Alpha Flight 3 and the Spectacular Spider-Man. Was it 9? No, that's
Yes.
110 or something like that.
Yeah, super tough, rare and high grade.
Yeah, which if the Spider-Man is worth a lot of money in 9.8, but I think people forget about that Alpha Flight, which is also just as hard to get in high grade, and it's it's not Spider-Man, but it is overlooked. But I think it's actually a really cool looking. I think it's just as cool looking as the Spider-Man cover.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. All right, I want to shout out somebody real quick here. Let me take care of this. See if this works. Shout out to. Take this down. Apologize, you guys. New computer woes. Shout out to Bird City Comics real quick. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because of the negative space stuff on that Jay Lee and if anybody's allowed to talk about retailer exclusives, it's me. So don't worry. This isn't Ben. This is me. I want to share this. This is kind of cool. This is a new retailer exclusive team up between Bird City and Hive Comics, and I think one more retailer, but
616.
616, yeah. So really cool variant or exclusive that they did for Moon Knight or Moon Girl and Spider-Man, Ivan Tao, and has that reverse negative space feel on it. Supposedly the story goes, and it's a cool story. Bird City and Hive wanted to work together and do some stuff. So the Hive boys said, hey, Ivan Tao is killing it. He's a good dude. And Bird City, okay, let's do this. And supposedly Laura said, hey, throw in Moon Girl with that negative space and you have a winner. And this is one of them. Beautiful cover, even with the trade. So you guys can go to Bird City or Hive Comics and get that. Really cool. Very cool. So
didn't even notice it was Ned. The
right?
helmet.
How good
nice.
is that? Yeah, very good. So, all right, let's continue on. Let me bring up our. Where is that? YouTube. Nope. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. There we go. This is terrible.
Hey, tell me if you hear this. It's in the hotel. I just don't want
it. Good.
I don't want it to be really loud. It's getting like 8,000 degrees in here.
What's that? The mini bar door opening and close?
Yeah. All right, here we go. On to the next one. You guys know all about these DC Universe books, especially if you're CBSI loyalist, or if you guys have been watching My Bargain Comics, Steve Horn for a while. Steve and who else did that really good article back on CBSI in the day? It was Steve and that guy right there. So,
and it was Steve, me, Trey, and
yes.
Who else was on that? I can't. It might have just been us three initially, and then I think maybe Topher jumped in, and maybe.
Wow. Yeah. All-star lineup.
Yeah, dude. It was really cool. It was one of the probably it was one of those things at CBSI back in the day when it came out. It was like, oh, you knew this group of people was going in a different direction. You know what I mean? It was such a monumental little article and find in the collecting. What are these DC Universe variants? Okay, now let's go find out how many of them are there out there, which are the really rare ones. And this is one of the rare ones. It's funny because most, the regular Green Lantern stuff, really DC Universe stuff, in all honesty, isn't that rare. It's just, they're key books in the run. They're probably the key books in that run. If you're a Kyle Rayner fan or even a Hal Jordan fan, and they were everywhere, though they were the packs that a lot of people bought. So you see a lot of Green Lantern DC Universe variants from 47 to 53 or something like that. in
Yeah.
a lot of collections.
Yeah, and then they kind of jump around from there, and then they get to, what is it, the death of, was it Death of Hal Jordan or something like that in 81, and then there was a collector's edition, and then like a non-collector's edition, and the non-collector's edition DC Universe was really hard to find. And this one in the first print is not that difficult to find, but this one is the second print, which is unusual that they have a first and a second print with the DC Universe. So
Wow.
yeah,
didn't
so you
know
just
that.
have, yeah, so you can tell on these older DC books, right next to the book number, it's got the two Roman numerals. That's how you can tell if it's a second print, because normally it would have on the barcode, but not on this one.
Wow. Great info, man. Thank you
Yep.
for that.
First full Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern in this one too, so that makes it even tougher book. And guess what, you guys, with that HBO Max series coming out, if that's a good series, we could see it. That could help with a resurgence in DC stuff. So
Yeah, this is honestly, if I wish DC would just do this again and just have random distribution across the country at random stores. Have no this. I mean, that's what made these so cool, is just that the fact that some were at KB Toys, some were at Children's Palace, some were at Kmart, some were at
Toys R
just,
Us.
yeah, Toys R Us. I mean, they're just all over the place, and there was like, some came in 2-packs, some came in 10-packs, some came in 3-packs. Like, they were just, there was no rhyme or reason as to why they were doing what they were doing, why they did 47, 48, 49, 51, and then skip 52, and then started right back at 53. Like, it's just weird.
And at some point they did some weird stuff too, where some of the books that were coming in those 3-packs weren't DCU variants.
Yeah, some of them have stickers as the DCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the weirdest things that people always kind of looked at them, and people that were collecting them definitely knew how hard some of these really are. Like, some of them are so difficult that if you find a raw copy in any condition, they can sell for several $100s. This one, yeah, basically this one in a CGC 9.4 sold for 180 as a CGC 9.4. So yeah.
Wow. And that's probably another thing, they were in those packs, so there's got to be some decent ones out there.
Yeah, Steve Horn is definitely the kind of the godfather of this. But yeah, it was very cool article to put together. I was searching for photos. Some of the books are so rare that I still don't have. I mean, years after, I still don't even have pictures of them. Like, some of them, like, there's only like 1 or 2 known copies. I mean, it's the most bizarre collecting.
I would love to get Steve on a show again and do a deep dive into the DC Universe stuff. Get you, Steve, whoever was working on that at the time, and really do a deep dive on it, because it's fascinating. And I would love to know what are the recent ones that have been found. If Steve has found any recently that, people don't know about yet. So cool stuff. All right, on to the next one at number 19.
Is this it?
This is it.
No way.
This is it, bro. Scatterbrain #1. The C cover is probably the toughest Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1 homage out there.
Really?
It is so hard to find. I have 2 of them. It's like a cardstock cover almost. So it's is it cardstock? I can't remember 100%. I'll go find them for Saturday's show. And they're not in high grade. So hard to find this book. Usually, you don't know how many times I have bought in Amazon sales for Scatterbrain #1, and it doesn't, even just if it doesn't say the which cover it is, I'll buy it just to take a chance. You know what I mean? And it's always the first A cover, the A cover, the A cover. Dude, I have bought in so many. This is it. Scatterbrain #1, the C cover. Absolutely. It might not be the most beautiful, homage to Spider-Man #1, but I think it's the rarest. I think it's the rarest. It's the one that I've had the hardest time finding. Kevin Conrad did the cover. Yeah, this is tough, and this is the book that I would just not talk about. And anytime I talk about, I would say there's a really rare one out there. There's a really rare one out there, and I would kind of lead into it. This is it.
And this is it.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
It's more rare than G.I. Joe Special, JJ. More rare than G.I. Joe Special.
Wow.
I've found 10 G.I. Joe Specials looking in short and in long boxes, yet alone buying them on eBay. This book doesn't show up.
Well, one did show up this week, and it sold for $125. So I don't know if that's a good price, a bad price. No idea.
Yeah, that's a any price on this book, man.
I would have.
It's rare. It's rare.
I would have. I've never even heard of one. I've never even heard of this type. Yeah.
The only reason I knew about it because Marcosia at the time was doing some cool books. Man, they were doing some interesting stuff, and I took a shot on it and got it randomly. Swear to God, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And everybody's asking, "Oh, I thought you hate homages." I don't hate homages. I hate the new craze of doing an homage so often that it burns out the love for the homage. I loved homages. That's what I collected. That's why I have this book, because I collect those Spider-Man 1 homages. And yeah, the homage stuff back in the day when it wasn't, every other book, that it was fun to collect. And this is a rare one. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I should have known. I should have known that was the one you were talking about, because this seems like something that you would not talk about.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is it, man. This is a tough one. There's also a Canadian published book, small publisher. I forget the name of it. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's a character, and they do homages for every cover. They had Alex Ross do a Kingdom Come homage for them for this character. I want to say like Laramie, I don't know, something weird like that. Chat, let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about. And they do homage covers for the whole run. So it's a small Canadian published book. So
yeah.
the publisher on this is Marcosia Press.
Yeah, never even heard of them.
Yeah, they were doing some cool stuff back at this time period. So. All right, next on the list, book that I think we've talked about on this list before, and it's back. Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the second print, the clench butt shot issue. Yeah. So yeah, here it is again.
I don't get this. I mean, I don't get a lot of things, but I don't get this book. Like, I mean, I guess this is what his first title. Is that what this is? But he was technically Ultimate Comics was.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, and Ultimate Comics had his origin. I'm not sure. I don't understand this one, but what did I have? A raw copy sold for $300 this week on this, which is like double what they were selling for. I'm so confused, especially with, in general, the Ultimate Fallout 4s have been dropping. If you're looking to buy one, this may be your one chance right now, because you can get a 9.6 for around $1,000, which is like $600 less than where it was. So if you're looking to get one, this might be your one opportunity, because I think this is as low as it may ever go. But
I'll say this right now. I think that a lot of people, you need to heed that warning for a lot of books. If you're in the comic book world and you want some of these crazy books, I think that the prices are going to get to a point where it's buying season on some of this stuff, if you can, right?
Yeah, I do. I agree. With the economy like it is, I mean, it's always been kind of I don't want to say it's an ugly part of collecting, but it's true not just in collecting. It's kind of across anything that you are buying to collect. It's not just comics, but when the economy is struggling, that's when you should be buying, because that's the only time you can really get. Because it's going to. I mean, this is not a new hobby. sports cards is not a new hobby. It's been around for, I mean, longer than we've been alive. So,
and the sports cards hobby also kind of like, we kind of follow sports cards, and sports card prices are down right now across the board, big time.
Well, it's either fill up your gas tank or buy a PSA 10 or
Baby
something.
formula, yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, you really don't have any options at this point for a lot of people. But if you have the cash flow, this is a good time to buy it. But this one is just bucking the trend. I just don't understand.
Yeah, and I agree with Manny. I love the blue second prints. I love that. It's like a shade of blue that you get excited when you see, because you know it's a second print, right? They do that with a lot of those second prints. They use that blue color. So when you see that shade, you're like, oh, that's one I need to grab.
Talking guts here. So this series, I mean, this is the only thing I could think of being, I mean, besides just being like an early series of Miles, I mean, Miles Mania is nuts, but like you were saying, the economy's down and this book keeps on selling. The only thing I think of is Cataclysm was right before this. This ties right after, that whole Cataclysm storyline. And then there is a decent first appearance. It's not the best D-level character, but villain, I believe, or anti-hero. Spider-Man twins are in this book. I think they had 7 full appearances in Marvel Comics. They're basically 2 robots that have Spider-Man powers. So they came from the Cataclysm story arc. But
It's funny. I'm looking, like Bryan said, he likes the blue, and I see a bunch of people saying, "Oh, the blue is cool, the purple's cool." I remember when these all came out, and Marvel was doing these second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh prints of all these things, and they're like, "This sucks. Why are they just changing the color? Nobody wants this." And now people are like, "Oh, that's really cool." Like it.
Yeah.
That's how collectors are. Like, we hate it when it comes out, and then years later, we're like, "Oh, that's awesome."
I still regret selling my Edge of Spider-Verse 2 I think it was the 6th print, which is like yellow or something like that. I still regret selling it, even though I made a bunch of money. I still regret it, because I remember buying those back in the day thinking, all right, if this character does, because by that time we knew that character was starting to take off. People already knew, with that 4th, 5th, even the 3rd print. And man, I remember buying those like crazy, to be honest. But you're right. It's funny how the things we used to hate, we now love. i.e. Scotty Young covers, second prints. Back in the day, if you said a book was a second print, nobody wanted it. So, all right. A really, really cool book. Second to last, almost 10 book this week. Darkwing Duck, the amazing San Diego Comic-Con edition that is, again, back when homages weren't the norm. Darkwing Duck was killing it. They were just Disney, or the DuckTales books, all those books, they were really good at doing homages, and this is a great one right here. So Darkwing Duck #1 from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, so I think this was limited to 500. I think is what this was. You don't see it come up for sale often. Me personally, like, I do love this cover because of being the Dark Knight Returns homage, but I actually love the incentive variant better, which is also kind of a quasi homage to that. But I think that cover is perfection. I think it
agree.
is. It's just magnificent to look at, and that one you rarely see come up for sale. But this one, a 9/8 sold this week for $750.
Which almost feels low.
Feels low. Yeah.
It feels like that should be $1,000 9/8, man. Like, think about this: the NES San Diego variant. There's only 500 of those.
The DuckTales.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you, like, for whatever, I don't know what, that one you never see for sale.
Yeah, because
this one
they were giving them away free and they were just trashed.
Yeah, these you see for sale occasionally. It's not often. There's also a second print that looks very, very similar to this. That Yeah, I mean it's very similar. Like I said, I think that's why I like the number one incentive um, better. I've only found that incentive. I've never found this. I live in the East Coast, so San Diego Comic Con variants generally don't make it to to shops out in the East that often. Anybody that picked them up, they're already in collectors' hands. They're not usually coming back to stores, but um,
I just see Dollar with the shirt over his nose like somebody farted.
No, I moved my podcast to the in my pressing area,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of hooked to the kitchen. And my pops is over here like putting dog food in the microwave or something like that because he says my dog likes his food warm.
All right, this is a great book. On to the next. Actually, what did this sell for at 9.4 again?
$750 for a 9.8. Yep.
$750 for a 9.8. Sorry. All right, next one. The last book on the almost 10. Harley Quinn number 8, the Frank Cho variant for this. Yeah.
Okay, this shocked me completely. Like this was I thought this was just a cover price.
Shout out to Long Short. Long Short showed put this on his IG the other day too, and I was like, "What is this book? I didn't even remember this book."
Yeah, I mean, Cho did a lot of these B covers, a lot of them. I don't know why this one sold for $25, and I don't know why. It's very strange. Uh,
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah,
He posted this recently.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
see, James Carter said that was his sale.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's Cho. Now, I will say in general, Cho variants don't do that well,
No.
and they're probably super underappreciated because they're kind of funny in general.
And Harley's perfect for a Cho variant.
Oh yeah, and he did. I mean, what, probably 25, 30 issues of these and the B covers. I mean, he did a lot, and some of them are hilarious. But this one, I don't know if it's just this one or if it's a lot of the other Cho. A lot of the other Cho B covers are selling well. I really don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cho is the outrage milkshake king. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He does some really cool sketches that people pay a lot of money for. That's for sure. That's 100% for sure. All right, you guys. Before we move on, I'm going to remind everybody to check out the links below. Hit up all of our YouTube pages. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. We have a lot of cool things going on. Also, shout out to Mellow Fellow Trading. You guys can find on Whatnot. And there's a link below for that, as well as Stein. Stein's on Whatnot. Stein, you got any news on the next show?
If I can get home, that'd be nice, but I can't get home. But I need to. I've got like 1 billion books to sell.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. That's why I've got a big sale that I'm getting ready for next Sunday. I'm going to do a big, huge sale, probably, maybe 4 or 5 hours. We'll see. So be on the lookout for that. Dollar, what do you got coming up?
I had a sale scheduled tonight because I've been doing like a post game pretty much every Friday and going into the wee hours. It's been really fun too, but I must have probably packed like 25 or 26 books. And there were so many because, I do the stackers and the lots were so heavy and I was by myself that I could only take half of them to the post office. So I had to schedule a pickup for the other half tomorrow. And I still have to send out like 4 more. So I might push it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel.
And if you guys don't know, Drunken Chat Son immediately following this, Mel is doing sales multiple times a week. Go check out. He does a Saturday night Liz Live sale, I think every Saturday night. So go check it out. All right. Into the honorable mentions. This week's Golden Age honorable mention. Wow. Yeah. Look at that. Great. That's an absolute beaut right there. Crime Reporter number 2 from 1948. Matt Baker cover. Wow.
Yeah. This is odd. That this book doesn't even sell that often. 2 copies sold this week, a 4.5 and a 5.0, which is just strange. The 5.0 or the 4.5 sold for 1,500. The 5.0 sold for 2,400. So that 4.5 might have been a deal, although the 5.0 is triple what it sold for just 2 years ago. I do have, and I pose this question, thinking about these pre-code books, and I mean, I try really hard not to be political. So this is more just a question in general. Do you think there's a chance that the Comic Code Authority comes back?
Great question. No. No.
No chance?
No, zero, absolutely none. Not even a snowball's chance in hell. No, I think listen, you can't stop crazy. We can all say that, but I think that we've gotten to a point in society and maybe our technology that where we realize that, yeah, there's certain things that you can't do. I mean, look at the outrage when people think that a book is getting taken out of libraries, and which isn't really what wasn't really the case or whatever. You know, I mean, people go crazy. What do you think if they try to do that to all, books or comics or?
I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, just think of in the past 6 months, just from people that we know, that have been the artists have been censored.
Yeah.
Just so it's happening. It just doesn't have a
Great
little.
point.
It doesn't have a little tag on the cover to say that they're doing it, but it's happening for sure.
Yes.
I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, I think it came about because of politicians trying to do whatever they wanted to feel good about.
Like Tipper Gore in the 80s.
I just feel like there's going to be some kind of surge against. I mean, it happened. Yeah, it happened with video games. Basically with the rating system. It happened with comics when they started putting, mature readers, teen, all ages. I mean, they kind of did it then. I can see another push. I really can. This world has gone so crazy that I can seriously see it happening again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just know that I could see it.
My question is who funded the Comics Code Authority? Oh, is it like publishers or? I mean,
yeah, that's a great question. I've never really looked into that. I know that there was that whole Seduction of the Innocent trial, that book that was written, Wortham, right? Frank Wortham or something. I don't know, something weird like that. Yeah, man.
Frank Wortham, you got
it. Yeah. So yes, Comics Code was self-regulated. Thank you, AOA. That's true. It was self-regulated. So, yeah. Well, at some point, like money becomes more important than for some people. Money becomes the all-seeing, all-knowing. That's their real God, right? So when that's more important than truth or freedom, or not, I shouldn't say truth or freedom. I don't know what the word is for it. Being able to, write and show whatever you want on a piece of paper. Yeah, it is a great thought experiment. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just because you think about it, I mean, the '70s horror comics were still kind of, they still pushed a lot of boundaries. I mean, if you look back some of those '70s horror comic, DC and Marvel, some of those some of those covers weren't as ridiculous as, they weren't showing, these women that are like damsels in distress and bondage and decapitations and stuff like that. But some of them were pretty strong, and even some of the books today, I don't know. I when people are grasping at trying to find answers to questions that nobody knows the answers to, they start grasping at straws, and they'll start doing whatever they can to make it feel like they're doing something.
Yeah.
Especially politicians who are, their
Lifelong
whole life,
politicians.
their livelihood is based on people thinking that they're doing something, even though
Yep.
we all pretty much know that none of them are.
Yep.
I mean, it's awesome water cooler talk and smack down in the middle of cancel culture.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right, on to the next book. The next, how much? Real quick, how much did these sell for? In four, five,
The 4.5 sold for $1,500. The 5.0 sold for $2,400.
Wow, man,
that's a jump.
Yeah, that's a big half price jump there, or half grade jump.
No.
Wow. All right, at the next honorable mention spot. Now, this is interesting. This is the Catwoman number 43 Rose Besh Virgin Foil variant. What is up with this?
Okay, this is this cover is a mess.
And as you guys can see, you got the nice little reflection on there.
It's terrible. This is an awful. I mean, I know. I mean, you all know that I'm not really any kind of a fan of Rose Besh art. That Spider-Man cover is okay. This is just there. I mean, it's just color. It's like color. It's like color vomit on this page. I mean, it's just terrible. But this book was some kind of who took the picture? I don't know. Trying to find a picture of this was really difficult.
Yes, it was. Yeah, to at least show the foil aspect.
Yeah, I mean,
the same thing with the McFarlane.
No, Ultra. This book can't possibly look good in person. This is terrible. This is not necessarily a store variant. It is but it's not very plentiful.
Was this a MegaCon variant? What was up with this? What is this?
I don't think I think it was given out at MegaCon. It's not strictly for MegaCon as far as I know. But yeah, this is just I mean, oof. This is terrible, right? Am I literally? I can't possibly be the only one that thinks this is just terrible.
Yeah, it's rough. But I know somebody who does like Rose Besh. Mighty Mel V. What up,
back in the 718, ready to make it great. Mighty Mel V back in the building. And this
Mel, do you like this cover, Mel?
It looks good in person.
Nope. No.
No, it really does look good in person. But 200. One sold for 200.
Mm-hmm.
Where do these come from? Where are these? Were these just regular variants, ratio variants?
They were at they were at the Whatnot booth and.
Oh, okay.
He said here. Okay. I was getting 50 to 60 for him. I thought I was living large. You said 200. I was like, you motherfuckers.
There we go. Thank you, Edwin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's definitely Frankie's Whatnot. Definitely Frankie's Whatnot Mega. Absolutely.
Again, I'm gonna say sorry, Dollar, just real quick.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna say what I said last week when we talked about when we got to those crane variants. I don't know if I like. I mean, I think it's cool that they're doing con variants, but I don't know if I like the fact that they're not done by the con and they're not limited. Like I felt it was such a jump from being stoked that they're doing con variants again to finding out no, these are con exclusives. You know that there's a ton of them. So that's the only thing I don't like. I don't want. I mean, how many of these books are there out there?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Mel, does this say Whatnot on the back?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Mel will find out for us.
I will agree with Ultra. I believe it was Ultra. Ben, I hate going against you. You're my guy, but he does have a point in the sense that these foils, like you guys were saying, it's tough to get an image, but they look better in person.
Yo, they look good.
Hold on, let me take a look. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let's see.
It can look pretty because of the foil, but does not look pretty because of the art.
It's cute. It's pretty. It's not as dark as you showed it. And let's see on the back. Let me just take these cardboards they use are amazing.
Are they Mylars, like half fat fullbacks?
Yeah. Yeah, it does say whatnot on the back.
Does it have all the sellers on the back?
No, just Frankie.
Okay. Because the Invincibles they had all the sellers, all of us.
So there's probably a ton of these then.
Yeah, basically.
Man,
Listen.
some of y'all are saying it's kind of cute. No.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, like I said, man, mine are going for 15 and 16. I was happy with that.
Man, interesting. Well, there we go, guys. There you go. Well, if people aren't pissed now, they're going to be really pissed for number 10. Oh, boy, Amazing Fantasy 15, not volume 2, but volume 1 is on the list this week. What is going on? In reality, you guys, if we were to do a top 10 comic book list every week, this book would be probably top 3 every week.
Is this the variant?
Hey, every single week, I look at the comments, and people are always like, why don't you put any Silver Age? Why are you always putting variants? Why don't you just have your own separate list for non-variants? Because nobody buys those. Okay, fine. Here you go. There you go.
Wait, hold on. A bunch of sales, right? There was also a Detective Comics 27 that sold, right, for like 1.4 million.
If you watch Heritage auctions every single week, there's an AF-15 that sells every week. It's like I don't know what. There's not even that many of them out there, but man, they sell all the time. But good Lord, the prices are actually kind of insane, and which is why I even considered it this week, because I looked at the sales and I'm like, holy cow. I mean, it's not just like, generally these massive blues chip keys, kind of just continually sell up in this, but selling for what did I say? A 4.5 sold for 72 grand. 2 years ago, it was 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
A 5.5 sold for 117,000. 2 years ago, it was only 45. It's went up $72,000 in 2 years. That's crazy.
Who's the artist trash?
Yeah. Is this the Spanish version? Yeah. That's the truth, staff. That is the truth. This is Ben's list. That is why you don't see this and Spawn #1 and Amazing Spider-Man 300, because that would be the list every freaking week if we were to do top. Top.
Oh yeah,
X-Men.
Yeah, hey, let's put X-Men #1, ASM 300. I mean, what? That's no fun. It's no fun to do that. It is fun to when they do have something like multiple record sales in grade to at least acknowledge it. It's also a kind of a telling stat that right now, in general, across the board, and I've been saying this for months, it's hard to find books week after week that are actually going up in value, which is a requirement of this list. It cannot be going down. You're never going to see a book on this list that is selling for less this week than it was last week. It's never going to happen. So if the amount of books that actually went up in value is low, then that's when books like this have to almost kind of fill the gaps. There's some weeks that there's technically not 10 modern bronze, copper books that are actually going up.
I thought your description was perfect that you wrote on the list this week.
Oh, for this one? What did I don't even remember what I wrote.
It was basically, in your own words,
Here, I'll read it here.
People are asking me to put Silver Age, so here you go.
Yeah. Well, the number of sales was the crazy thing. The 72K for a 4.5, 84K for a 5.0, and 117K for a 5.5, which that's more than doubling in price.
So there were like how many sales of this book per week? This was 3 this week.
Yeah, I mean
Just on eBay,
yeah. I mean, if you look at, these things sell on Heritage all the time. Like you pull up Heritage weekly sales, and it's almost every week that you see the top book was an AF-15. It's crazy.
Yep.
Damn.
All right, on to the next number 9 this week. We Live #1 is back on the list at number 9.
Yeah, so I don't know who reported it. Usually, like when I see books that are like when I'm scrolling through and I see like several sales, then I usually will just kind of goop because I don't follow like Twitter feeds or anything like that. So I don't have a lot of the information as to why.
Megacon rumor.
Yeah. So okay. So Megacon rumor. So you know how I feel about rumors, especially about indies, and especially when they're going to Hulu or Discovery Plus or whatever. I mean, like, those type of things just don't really do it for me. Luckily, this one went up a little bit. It went from like $30 to $40. It was still selling before at 30. So it's not like.
Is this the variant? This is
this is just the A cover. Now I will say Aftershock, they went a little crazy with these number ones, and they did like foil. They did like a foil, white version and a black version and silver and like 400 different prints. And
metal, copper, platinum.
It's a great series too.
Titanium.
Yeah. Are you reading it, Brian? Right now?
No, but I remember when it first came out, I read the first, couple issues, and then everybody says it's really, really good.
Cool.
Yeah, shout out to Wanted Comics. Wanted Comics told me about this issue.
Yeah, so Uniform says that it's not just a rumor, it's the real deal. Okay, well, again, Hulu. When has Hulu ever done anything for any book at all, let alone an indie title? That is
Hit Monkey.
Yeah, but Hit Monkey's not an indie title though. That's still a Marvel.
Sure did.
And
have they had any other indie properties though?
I don't know. I mean, but I still think Hit Monkey is more tailored because I think people are still expect whenever Deadpool 3 comes out that Hit Monkey's going to be somehow tied to Deadpool.
That would be awesome.
I think so. But I mean, We Live is really not, and this isn't just, it has nothing to do with We Live. It's it's kind of indie titles in general. They just don't, they're long-term investment wise. I mean, even shows that, or even books that had mega successful movies. I mean, Men in Black, The Mask. I mean, these books are mega hits. I mean, they were big deals. The books are really not worth anything. So, tread very lightly on these indie titles.
There is a really cool third print, and it's basically the same cover, but instead of the green, it's all yellow.
So they basically did the entire color spectrum for this book. They went a little crazy on it, but
when it dropped, it was right around New York Comic Con, so there was like a bunch of booths that did exclusives, artists, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. All right, on to what would you say it's selling for again? One more time.
It's now about $40.
There we go. All right. Number 8 on the list, a really, really cool cover here, Disturbed Dark Messiah. This is the 1 in 10. There's a 1 in 10 and a 1 in 20 variant by Todd McFarlane for issue number 1. But man, this cover alone right here is gorgeous.
Is that?
And it's a different type of cool looking too. It's like, it's not like, there's something about it that I don't know what it is, man. It also kind of feels like they're kind of going off characters in the comics universe. Like it looks like Doctor Strange is behind them and Death. And
I mean, this character looks like Han or something like that. I mean, the question that I have, and this is just me, but so this title or this publisher, this Opus, they were doing that Frank Frazetta Death Dealer thing too, and they got Delato and Sienkiewicz and Linsner, and now they're getting McFarlane to do it. I mean, how are they getting these guys that don't? I mean, they basically could pick and choose wherever they want to do art. how are they? I mean, where are they getting the money?
I don't know.
McFarlane?
Yeah, I don't know if it's money, but hey, listen, maybe we need to get the people from Opus on a show and talk about it, because you're right, they're pulling off some really, really cool stuff. So let's figure it out. Let's get them on something.
So is this book just about the band Disturbed, or is this about?
No. God, no, dude. I never thought I would have to bring up that band on here, man.
Down with the sickness.
But isn't that what this is about? The band? It's about from the band, right?
Is it?
That's what about this. The guy who told me to order this about a month and a half ago. I was like, yeah, I get around to it. Of course, I didn't order it, so of course, fuck this book. But he said, yeah, it's the band, and it's like,
oh
he
my
said,
God, I thought it was a porn homage.
No, he said it isn't the first appearance of the band. So you'll just trust me, get the cover, just get a couple of them.
Wow, that is the band. Oh no, Rob, let us know. Is this about the band?
Who's on the?
Is about the band? Oh my God, I don't know if I can buy this. No, I'm just joking.
Who is on the wraparound? Who's on the back side of this? Like,
there's other people there that are on it.
I'm just curious. I will say that depiction of, if that's like supposed to look like death or whatever, she looks gorgeous. Like right next to whatever.
Phoebe Cates.
Let me see if I can find the.
Let me read you the synopsis or whatever real quick. It says, in the not so distant future, firefighter Griffin DeSanto has found himself a man at a time, stumbling into a harsh world of poverty, automation, and subjugation. That sounds like a Disturbed song. Technology rules, and a tech empire built on suffering keeps the population in check through surveillance and mechanized or something like that policing. Though lost, Griffin is never alone. He was brought here for a reason, and the vengeful one is his guide, conceived by Disturbed with Tim Seeley and Lexi Leon. Dark Messiah features writing by Seeley, the New York Times best-selling creator Hackslash.
Wow. Here's the whole.
There's a virgin
image.
too.
Yeah. There's cover C. And look can you guys see this? Hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's decent, but there's the cover D.
This is the 1 in 10, and the virgin is the 1 in 20.
It is. It's about. I listen, you guys. This is honest to God. I did not know this about the band. I am not a fan of Disturbed, so I didn't know that Disturbed had like a whole album about this and shit. Right? They're going like they're trying to pull the Coheed and Cambria shit. So, man, that's crazy. That is nuts. Wow. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. All right. It is what it is. We talk about Disturbed on here. It's not that big of a deal.
You're not down with the sickness?
I'm not down with the sickness, no. Unfortunately, I'm not, no. Or fortunately. All right, you guys. Number 7 on the list. Thor, God of Thunder, number 5. And love this book. Will always love this book. Such a great series. Jason Aaron is great. But I'm sorry, you guys, that bullshit of what they did in the movie where it's Christian Bale with a shaved head and some CGI on him is so dumb looking, and it deserves to be made fun of constantly in memes. They messed up so bad by not doing the look of the comic books in this one. I think I feel like it's cheesy. I feel like it's almost to the point where it's like Christian Bale's like, hey, if you want me to do the movie, I'm not wearing any type of stuff or nothing. You know what I mean? Because it looks so bad in the oh my God, dude.
I think he actually looks I don't know. I'm kind of mixed. I think okay, one side of my opinion is like, I'm glad it doesn't look so comic accurate, because then we can really see Bale be Bale. But then, like, in all these other trailers I'm seeing, like, on the internet stuff, his look keeps changing, like scars on his head. So I'm thinking, okay, Gore makes it out of this movie, and by the time he gets to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, he's going to look just like the comic gore. The one down part I don't like about it, which I covered on my show yesterday with Sam, is there was the toy leak. The toy hasn't been released, but it basically was on, I guess, FOC this week or something. The all black Necrosword. They put in detail his costume, and you see how cool Gore looks with that costume with the black hood and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, he looks like freaking a monk that got freaking the toy and the actor, his costume. He looks like Friar Tuck, who was possessed by the devil.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's bad. It's really bad.
So it's gonna cross over from Love and Thunder to Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's what I think. I think he's coming out. He's gonna make it out of this movie.
That'll be all right, and maybe by the end of that, like you said, he'll have his whole get up. But can we talk about how great Jane Foster looks?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, bro.
Yeah,
She does. She looks amazing. I mean, Natalie Portman always looks amazing, dude. I'll always have a crush on. I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'll always have a crush on Natalie Portman. She's the only thing good about some of those prequels. You know what I mean? And
she's terrible.
She's uncoordinated too.
She's pretty, dude. She's pretty.
She is less exciting to watch.
I agree.
Than Brie Larson.
I agree. Man, that's sad. That's sad. I hate to say it.
Ben, did you look at the 1 in 50? What is it? The Guerra or
out of this?
It's like a $300 book now. I bought like 5 of those at Midtown in VF condition for $17. Now it's like a $300 book. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I'm glad that. I mean, if you actually look at God of Thunder 2 is actually going down in value. I'm actually glad that Origin issues, are doing better. So this is an Origin issue. I prefer that, to be honest. But
I like Origin issues. Origin issues used to carry a lot of weight in the comic collecting world. A lot of weight. They carried just as much weight as some first appearances for Origin issues. Like they're that big of a deal.
Hey, you remember when we used to buy Wizards? It would either have a 1 colon next to it or an O colon for the Origin every time.
Yep. So, all right. This series will always be worth picking up, and it's so hard to find now in back issue bins. And if you find any of the God of Thunder series, just grab it. It's that good. And those Ribic covers are awesome. Ribic is one of those guys that he can't do bad. Like his Eternals covers are so good right now. There are some comic artists out there that are they're good every time, and Ribic's one of them.
What was the issues with his granddaughter? Was that 13?
8.
8.
All right, on to number
good cover too.
8 right now. Infinite Crisis number 5, the Jim Lee cover.
Ninth one to find a newsstand and like a $5 box at MegaCon.
Nice.
High grade.
Good enough. It was $5. It was good enough. he gonna make 1 and 5 off it.
Beautiful cover. The Jim Lee variants for this whole set were always the one to get. Even if you like George Perez, those are still great covers, but the Jim Lee variants were always the ones to get.
Yeah, I don't even know if the Jim Lee is actually the variant or the Perez is or because they both have their barcodes all say 1 on both of them. So I don't really know which one is actually the variant, but on this one, the Lee sells for like 3 times more than the Perez. So it's definitely the Lee is the one to have. But
let me. I'm gonna run right quick. I gotta handle some business, and I will see y'all in a minute.
Let him know. All right, yeah. The Blue Beetle stuff that's coming actually looks pretty good.
Hey, that's as comic book faithful as you can get. Yes. That costume was dead on accurate.
And this is a great looking character. He was a good character in the comics. Everybody liked this character when it first came out. There was a lot of hype behind it. So the Jamie Reyes, that's his name, right?
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
But it is DC. The writing could be horrendous. So
Yeah, I know, man. That sucks. What's it selling for now in the secondary?
So it had dropped because everybody when the Blue Beetle stuff kind of was moving, and then it kind of dropped. Basically, 9/8 had dropped down to low 200s. Back up over 300 this week after those set photos. I don't know. I don't really know if this should be a $300 book or not. It seems like a lot for this character on a modern DC book to me, but maybe they'll do. Maybe he'll be great. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird, Ben. I'm looking at you're right about the variants, except the second print has the 2, but they all have 5111. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know which one is actually the A cover or not. I don't know.
Yeah, Wookie fought a great point. DC did a better job of making him look accurate compared to Gore. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Let's give him a little bit of credit, So, all right. I'm going to be interested to see if this continues. I like this character, and I'm going to definitely be watching what's going to happen on the small screen. Small screen, right? It's a series.
Yeah, I think so.
Is
I'm
it a
excited
series?
too. I think
it's
a movie. Or no, maybe it is a movie. Okay.
Let us know, you guys, if you guys know. All right. Before we move on to the top 5 in this CBSI Hot 10 show, I want to give another shout out to a great retailer friend, and that's Wanted Comics. And you guys know that immediately following this is It's Drunken Chat Son. And if you guys want to find out something really cool about what I'm going to talk about, make sure you guys watch It's Drunken Chat Son immediately following this. But shout out to Wanted Comics for this beautiful variant, David Mack Daredevil variant. Ooh-wee. So Wanted Comics released this image today. This is the new Daredevil variant, Daredevil #1 by David Mack. Look at this.
Has David Mack ever done a store exclusive?
I don't. Yes, he has. He did some stuff for Hive. So he did Radiant Black for Hive, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, look how good this is. The regular cover. There's the Virgin. Look how good that Virgin variant is with the negative space birds and the concentric circles. Like, what a great variant that is. So shout out Wanted Comics for releasing this gorgeous new exclusive for Daredevil #1 by David Mack. And that's another one of those dream things I imagine for them. So you guys go check out Wanted Comics and watch Drunken Chat tonight if you really like this book. We'll talk about it later. All right. Let's get back into the rest of the list here. At number 5, get rid of that. At number 5, we have Something is Killing the Children back on the list. This is Something is Killing the Children #21, the Tyler Kirkham variant. $100 raw.
Yep. I didn't even, because they're on issue 23 now, so this one just popped up, but it's 2 issues old. It's a good looking Kirkham.
Yeah, that is really good. It's not his normal style too. I like it.
Yeah, the only thing that you could kind of tell is with her fist, where she's with that, doing that on her right hand. But other than that, it doesn't necessarily look like a Kirkham, but it looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know if it's $100 good, but it is.
Is it a ratio?
No, it is an exclusive.
Yeah.
It's an exclusive.
Okay.
It's funny. Everybody complains about the exclusives, but right now the exclusives are really the only ones that are that seem to be consistently selling. It's odd. It's a very odd time.
Well, I think that we also need. I mean, it's not like we shouldn't talk about exclusives. Exclusives are comic books, that we collect also. The thing is that we have to keep reminding people who are putting out exclusives and the publishing companies that we want transparency on print count, and a lower print count rather than a higher print count is always better. And I know that if you were a retailer, you wouldn't want to hear that because you want to sell as many books as possible. But you're going to eat yourself. It's like that snake eating its own, the tail type thing. You're gonna get to a point where you just it's not cool anymore. No matter how good the cover is, you start hurting your industry. And that's always kind of been the thing in the background, that ever since we found out that retailer exclusives also get the ratios, and stuff like that. Once we found that out, it was like, all right, this doesn't feel right. So,
right.
We just transparency is the key, and lower print rather than higher print is the best way to go.
Well said.
All right.
On this one, Hi Nathan says there's a bunch of these coming signed. So my guess is I would not want these signed. So whatever ones is signed, I don't want those. Give me the blue labels.
Yep. Number 4 on the list, a really cool old school nostalgic cover from Now Comics. Now Comics is one of those publishers that you see in a lot of back issue bins, and usually they're not bagged or boarded. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's a Now Comics issue. And you know what? I usually grab them. This is Speed Racer number 1. Wow, that is a nostalgic cover if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, Speed Racer, man.
Mm-hmm. Was it MTV that it was on late night? What was it? What channel was it on late night?
I don't.
You guys let us know if you're in the chat.
Speed Racer, go that
one. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess this week, J.J. Abrams said that he's going to do a show on Apple TV.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know, and it's live action. That's what I'm like. Because I only remember the cartoon.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's a bit odd.
Yeah.
JJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
I didn't realize it was a car there for the longest time, dude. I was looking at it thinking it was just like a special thing on his visor. I didn't realize it was a car.
Man, his comments are killing me.
Yeah.
Hey, I like J.J. Abrams. I think Bad Robot has done some. I've loved most Bad Robot movies and projects and TV shows, and I just I don't know.
That Spider-Man arc was terrible. Remember that? Was it JJ? Yeah, it was JJ.
Yeah, and his son.
It's horrible. It was his son?
I think it was. He did it with his son.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the art was really good. There were some really good covers, but I just couldn't get into it.
This is really good information that James has put up here. Die Kamikaze number 1 had the preview before issue 1 from Now. I would like to know where was the first place Speed Racer showed up. Like, where you foreign guys? Hey, Josh and Rob, where you at? Let us know. First appearance of Speed Racer and anything. I want to know.
Yeah, because it came from the Japanese show, right? Okay.
Yep. So how much is this selling for?
This is selling for $30 to $40.
That seems low.
Yeah,
it was like a $10 book.
Yeah. Okay. Probably wasn't the biggest book. Yeah. That's a nice jump. That is a very nice jump. All right, top 3, you guys, and here we go. Another foil and another MegaCon foil, if I'm not mistaken, right? Didn't they hand these out at MegaCon? No, they didn't hand these out at MegaCon, right? This was a regular foil in the ratio.
No, this was. I think this one was a MegaCon. I believe.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Apparently, we should have went to MegaCon.
I know, dude. Hey, everybody was there having fun. That's the one thing. They look like they're having a blast. I saw everybody hanging out, and I wish I was there. So.
Yeah. So McFarlane again. I mean, it's pretty much happens every time McFarlane does any kind of a hard to find variant. I mean, we saw it with that Disturbed book, and pretty much anytime he does anything at this point, he's pretty much you can bank on it, right?
Yeah. Because I agree with AOA. This is not a good cover.
I like the color one better, much better than the foil.
What you mean, number 2?
Yes.
Number 2 this week is also McFarlane. So you got the foil that was selling for probably what, 200?
Well, yeah, 175 at 200, as well as the 1 in 100 color variant. They're both selling for that. But I will say there are very, very few of the color variants available. So,
Yep. And
I mean,
I
one
own
in a
3.
1 in 100 which is amazing, Richie. That's crazy.
So supposedly, the retailer said it was supposed to be limited to 300 on that foil. So I would like to find out more information on that. If that is the case, I want to know, if
That's pretty. I mean, you think of any McFarlane variant, 300 is pretty low.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be very interesting. I would love to know that. So, but hey, number 2, I said this book was, I didn't feel like, I'm not saying it's bad art. It's good art. It's just not, this is not McFarlane's best work for me. To me, like maybe the character isn't that great. Like I just don't see McFarlane art in this character. It doesn't, when you see McFarlane art, you usually go, oh man, that's McFarlane. Anybody could have drawn this, and I would have been like, I don't know who that is. So, right?
It
I
look-
mean, can you see McFarlane in that? I can't see.
Yeah,
McFarlane.
I can.
You can?
But I see where you're coming from. Definitely.
Yeah.
But the color pops. I think the full, and like I was saying earlier, like what Ultra was saying I guess the in person are two separate, but I think the foil looks like ass. I think this color just pops on screen. I can't wait to get it in my hand.
Yeah.
Well, for some people that's better, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Starface man.
Yeah. It's weird. All right. Next, the number 1 book this week, and rightfully so for the prices that this book has been getting. It is on the list 2nd week in a row. I think there's been a Souza Micah cover on at least the thumbnail for this show for like the last 4 or 5 shows, something like that. She has just been on fire, and this is one of her most beautiful covers. Catwoman number 43, the 1 in 25 variant. There is a lot of them out there. There's no doubt about that. And
I don't know if there is that many. I don't know if there's as many as we might think. I mean, because there's not like a huge, like for sale right now. Okay, first of all, and I don't buy the one that's currently listed and it's at auction and it's at $438. I don't really buy that one because there's a buy it now for 300. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 copies for sale right now. That's it. 5. That's not many. I don't think it's necessarily that plentiful. Do I think it's a $300 book? I don't know.
That's crazy. That seems a little much for this, but man, it is good. It might be. I think it's probably Souza Micah's best cover to date. Right?
I agree.
It's such a great concept. With the Polaroid, it's got 2 great characters in dynamic type pose, and
yeah, Heineken Jones says he sold his today for $298, and the buyer's already paid. So, I mean, I think 300's I mean, that's more than what I even figured it as. Because when I wrote this, the highest sale was 175, which is double what it was last week. Because I mean, this thing started out last week, and it was 25, 1 in 25, and it was selling for like 75, and now it was selling for 175, and now it's 300. Yeah, I don't know on those exclusives though, like the one from MegaCon. I mean, I don't know if they got these because that was a straight deal with Whatnot on that. So I don't know if they got these or not. I mean, they could have. Who knows? But and maybe, I mean, if I were a retailer, me personally, and I did get if it was a 1 in 25 and I had to order 3,000 copies of these, so I've got 100 of these. There is no way that I would start dumping them or posting that I've got 100 of these or anything like that. There's no way I would do that. I would bleed these things out for the next 5 years. Sell one every 2 weeks and just count it. I mean, right? I mean, isn't that
well, unfortunately, I don't think most retailers think that way. Most retailers just want to get inventory in and inventory out, right?
I guess. I don't know. That's what I would do, but yeah, Lou says they're still waiting for the Sandman Prison to drop. I think a 9.8 of that sold for like 800 or something. So that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But
yeah,
I'm sure there's several of these being fast tracked to CGC. I would say within the next few weeks there's going to be 9.8 copies available of this, and we'll see what they sell for at that point. But
yeah, really, really cool. I love it. I think it's a great book. I think it's it might be up there for cover of the year. So we'll see. We'll see what we get for the rest of the year. But that is the CBSI Hot 10 show for May 27, 2022. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Check out all the links in the descriptions below. Richie, what do you got coming up this week?
So, as you know, yesterday was the first installment, doing a 4-phase show. So first one of 4 of the X-Men 97 animation project that's supposedly in development at Marvel Studios. So I went ahead and laid down some basically 50 cent to, I think the most expensive book is like, besides number 1, X-Men Adventures, but I laid down all the key issues and from that universe, from that show, because what is confirmed is if it does happen, it's going to be an extension from the 1992, the original series. So it's from that universe. So I went ahead and laid down some keys. Monday will be Hump Day Heroes. I'm going to basically just do our show, my show, New Comic Book Day FOC, similar to what Jim does. I fill in the blanks. Typically, there's a few that he talks about that, and then what he didn't talk about, I try to get in there. And then Thursday will be the second phase of the X-Men 97 animation, phase 2 of the keys to buy for that universe.
Very cool. Make sure you guys are following Popcorn Culture. Links below. Go sub up over there. Stein, you got anything coming up other than work? You're muted, brother.
Oops. Yeah, just finishing up work, and then I'll be on vacation. So I don't know if I will. Yeah, I don't know if I will be doing the list next week or not. I need to look and see, but because I will be driving to South Carolina. So
nice, very nice.
Yep.
All right, you guys, tomorrow night on the Amazing with Bryan McClay channel, we have Modern Comic Mayhem. We are going to be talking Star Wars Celebration and Obi-Wan, hopefully with a couple of the guys from Renovision, Marco and Pete, and maybe get them to give us some of the information. We'll hopefully have somebody on from the Renovision channel. So that's going to be fun. And then, we're going to, of course, talk about all the recent news of the week and a lot of other fun stuff. So Star Wars fans, come hang out tomorrow night on Modern Comic Mayhem. All right, everybody. Drunken Chat Son is next. Hopefully we'll see you guys over there. Adios.